Imagine, for a moment, a single, unifying principle that could serve as the ultimate compass for your existence. A mystical axiom promising not just guidance, but a direct pathway to authentic spiritual liberation. What if such a law existed, capable of illuminating the deepest recesses of your being and fundamentally altering your perception of reality itself? Today, we embark on an exploration of such a doctrine, the Law of Thelema. This profound philosophy, channeled through the controversial visionary Aleister Crowley over a century ago, has since rippled through the worlds of occultism, art, and truth-seeking, leaving an indelible mark. Prepare yourself for a journey into a system of thought that challenges, empowers, and offers a radical vision of human potential. To grasp the essence of Thelema, we must first turn our attention to its architect, Aleister Crowley, a figure whose life was a tapestry of brilliance, notoriety, and profound occult inquiry. While a dedicated video will be necessary to unravel the complexities of this man, for our current purpose, we must travel back to a pivotal moment in his life. Our story transports us to the year 1904, amidst the vibrant and ancient energies of Cairo, Egypt. It was here that Crowley, alongside his wife Rose Edith Kelly, was engaged in deep mystical workings. Suddenly, the ordinary was shattered. Rose entered an unforeseen trance, channeling a startling message. A powerful entity, the falcon-headed god, Horus, sought communication. Crowley, ever the skeptic and rigorous investigator, was initially doubtful. He subjected Rose to a series of tests, demanding she identify Horus from a collection of artifacts and describe his specific characteristics, knowledge she, without extensive Egyptological study, should not have possessed. To his utter astonishment, she answered every question with perfect accuracy. Her descriptions were not just correct, they were precise, pointing to a specific stele in a local museum that Crowley himself had previously overlooked. Convinced that he was on the brink of a monumental revelation, Crowley followed the instructions, channeled through his wife. Beginning on the 8th of April, 1904, for 3 consecutive days, at precisely noon for 1 hour, he sat down in his chamber and transcribed the words of a disembodied voice. This entity identified itself as Aiwas, a messenger for the divine forces guiding humanity's next evolutionary phase. The torrent of information he received would form the 3 chapters of a text titled Liber al vel Legis, or the Book of the Law. This slim volume would become one of the most enigmatic, potent, and influential documents in modern esotericism, a text that Crowley himself would spend the rest of his life attempting to fully comprehend. The Book of the Law proclaimed that humanity was transitioning out of an old age of suffering and subservience and entering a new cycle, the Aeon of Horus. In this dawning era, the guiding stars would be individual freedom and the discovery of one's true will, the bedrock principles upon which the Law of Thelema was founded. This revelation was a radical departure from the dogmatic religions of the past, championing instead a path of profound self-knowledge and personal realization. At the very heart of Thelema beats a powerful, and perhaps its most widely misunderstood, declaration: "Do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law." On the surface, these words can easily be misconstrued as a license for unbridled hedonism, a justification for anarchy, or a simple command to follow every fleeting impulse. However, its true, profound meaning lies far deeper, requiring a significant shift in understanding. Doing what thou wilt is not about indulging transient whims or selfish cravings. Instead, it is a divine directive to discover and enact your true will. So, what is this true will? It is not a passing desire for a material object or a momentary passion. The true will is the essential, unique purpose for which each individual soul has incarnated. It is your ultimate reason for being, your perfect trajectory through the cosmos. Thelema posits that every single human being, like every star in the heavens, has a specific orbit, a unique path to follow. Fulfilling this purpose is the ultimate key to achieving spiritual freedom, personal fulfillment, and contributing to universal harmony. To uncover one's true will, the seeker must embark on a courageous inner journey. This involves systematically stripping away the layers of external conditioning, societal expectations, and the illusions of the false self. Practices such as meditation, scrupulous self-analysis through a magical diary, and the deep study of occult symbolism are the essential tools used by Thelemites on this quest. When an individual finally aligns with their true will and acts in accordance with it, the need for externally imposed moral codes and restrictive religious dogmas simply dissolves. Their very nature, their authentic essence, becomes their guide, ensuring their actions are in perfect synchronicity with the universe. Crowley provided a powerful analogy to illustrate this cosmic order. He observed that each planet in our solar system follows its own precise orbit, moving in perfect harmony with all the others. A planet does not desire to be in another's orbit. It fulfills its own nature perfectly. Similarly, when each person follows their own true will, conflict ceases. Everyone naturally finds and occupies their correct place within the grand, dynamic order of existence. The apparent chaos of the universe, Thelema suggests, is actually a mask for a deep and intricate harmony. Human life is meant to mirror this sublime cosmic dance. This concept also introduces a profound sense of responsibility. Following your true will is not a passive journey. It is an active, disciplined calling. It demands self-discovery, rigorous honesty, and unwavering commitment. Therefore, the phrase, "do what thou wilt," is, in its purest sense, an invitation to live a life of absolute authenticity and divine purpose, liberated from the heavy chains of guilt, shame, and repression. It is a call to become who you truly are. Flowing alongside this primary axiom is its equally vital counterpart. Love is the law, love under will. This statement, often quoted with the first, elevates the concept of love far beyond mere romantic sentiment or interpersonal affection. In the Thelemic worldview, love is a fundamental cosmic energy, the very fabric of connection that permeates all of existence. It is the force of union, the power that draws things together. But this is not a blind, chaotic force. The crucial addendum, under will, provides the key. It signifies that this potent energy must be consciously guided and directed by the light of one's true will. For Aleister Crowley, love was not a passive emotion but an active, magical principle. True, authentic love manifests when two distinct forces, or two individuals, can unite and interact in complete harmony, without one attempting to dominate, change, or impose its will upon the other. This ideal state arises naturally when each person is securely aligned with their own true will. They can then love freely and allow others the absolute freedom to follow their own paths, without coercion, jealousy, or artificial restrictions. The expression, love under will, therefore means that our love must be a conscious love. It cannot be impulsive, possessive, or disorderly. It must be guided by a deep understanding of our own purpose and a profound respect for the purpose of others. This principle applies to all human relationships, whether they are romantic partnerships, social bonds, or spiritual fellowships. They should be founded on a bedrock of mutual liberty and respect. When you act from the center of your true will, the love you express is inherently purer, more sincere, and more powerful. In the esoteric context, love is the dynamic force that unites opposites, light and dark, masculine and feminine, being and non-being, thereby maintaining the equilibrium of the universe. Crowley often linked this concept to the goddess Nuit, the first speaker in the Book of the Law. As the goddess of the infinite heavens and cosmic space, she represents boundless, all-encompassing divine love. Nuit's message is one of ecstatic union with the cosmos, of dissolving the limited ego into the totality of existence. This transcendent love is not attachment. It is a state of profound fusion with the all. Thus, love is the law. Love under will serves as an ethical and practical guide. It teaches that all our interactions should be informed by an understanding of our own core nature and the nature of those we interact with. True love does not confine, it liberates. When an individual lives in harmony with their true will, they love without fear and without the need for artificial constraints, becoming a natural conduit for this universal force. The Book of the Law itself is structured into 3 distinct chapters, each delivered by a different deity, together forming a complete picture of Thelemic cosmology. The first chapter is the voice of Nuit, the queen of infinite space and the infinite stars. She represents the totality of all that is possible, the boundless expanse of the cosmos. Her language is poetic, lush, and ecstatic. She speaks of freedom, the expansion of consciousness, and the bliss of dissolving into the universe. Nuit's famous proclamation, "Every man and every woman is a star," underscores the divine uniqueness and inherent sovereignty of each individual within the grand cosmic tapestry. Her chapter is an invitation to transcend the limited ego and discover the divine nature that resides within. The second chapter is dictated by Hadit, the consort of Nuit. If Nuit is the infinite circumference, Hadit is the infinitely small point at the center of that circle. He is the principle of individual consciousness, the secret flame that burns within the heart of every living being. Hadit represents motion, energy, and the relentless drive of life. His message is one of the inward journey, the quest for the true will. Hadit declares, "I am the flame that burns in every heart of man and in the core of every star." He teaches that spiritual fulfillment is found not through submission to external authority, but through direct, personal experience of one's own inner truth. This chapter celebrates dynamism, potent self-expression, and the courage to live life to its fullest, free from fear. The third and final chapter is delivered by Ra-Hoor-Khuit, the crowned and conquering child, the warrior manifestation of Horus. His tone is markedly different from the previous two. It is fierce, powerful, and intense. This chapter announces the dawning of the Aeon of Horus, a new age of spiritual freedom and individual power. Ra-Hoor-Khuit embodies strength, courage, and the force necessary to overcome the outdated and oppressive structures of the past. The chapter contains passages that are challenging and often interpreted as metaphors for the internal and external battles required to shatter old illusions and build a new world on a foundation of authenticity. Here, the individual is summoned to claim full responsibility for their destiny and to act upon their true will with unwavering resolve. Together, these three chapters form a cohesive whole. Nuit provides the infinite field of possibility and cosmic love. Hadit provides the individual spark of life and the drive to experience it. And Ra-Hoor-Khuit provides the strength to manifest that individual truth in the world. The philosophy of Thelema is not merely an abstract set of esoteric concepts. It is a living, breathing system designed for practical application in the laboratory of daily life. For those who choose to walk this path, translating its high principles into concrete actions is the great work. The foundational step is always self-knowledge. The search for the true will is an archaeological dig into the soul. This deep introspection is supported by practices like consistent meditation to quiet the conscious mind, reflective journaling to track one's thoughts and experiences, and rigorous self-analysis. The magical diary, heavily encouraged by Crowley, becomes an invaluable tool, allowing the practitioner to map their inner world and identify the subtle patterns and synchronicities that lead them toward their authentic essence. Beyond introspection, study is a crucial pillar. To live Thelema, one must understand it. This means delving into foundational texts like Liber Legis, the extensive commentaries and works of Crowley, and the writings of other occultists who have explored these currents. For those seeking a more structured approach, initiatory orders such as the OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, and the Acquire Eku offer systematic guidance, curriculum, and communal support on the path. Another powerful avenue for applying Thelema is through magical rituals and spiritual practices. These are not pleas to external gods, but are sophisticated techniques for psychological and spiritual transformation. The lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, for example, is often performed daily as a form of psychic hygiene to purify the practitioner's personal space and strengthen their aura. More advanced practices, like the invocation of one's holy guardian angel, a central theme in Thelemic mysticism, are undertaken to establish a direct connection with one's higher self, the ultimate source of the true will. Living Thelema also demands absolute personal responsibility. Thelemites understand that they are the sole authors of their reality. Every choice has a consequence, and every action sends ripples out into the universe. This means acting with integrity, honoring one's commitments, and respecting the sovereign will of others while steadfastly pursuing one's own. Autonomy and self-discipline are not optional. They are the very engines of freedom. Finally, Thelema encourages the pursuit of excellence in every facet of life. The true will is not confined to a spiritual corner. It permeates everything: one's profession, relationships, art, and personal development. A Thelemite strives to express their unique essence authentically and fully in all that they do. This is a dynamic path of constant evolution, requiring the courage to shed limiting beliefs and embrace change. By integrating these practices, an individual ceases to be a mere follower of a philosophy. They become a conscious creator of their own reality, guided by the luminous beacon of their true will and the profound freedom that its discovery bestows. Like any profound spiritual system that challenges convention, Thelema has been surrounded by a fog of controversy and misunderstanding since its inception. One of the most persistent misconceptions is that it promotes a form of uncontrolled hedonism. For the uninitiated, the central maxim can seem to justify any action based on immediate gratification. As we have explored, this is a fundamental misreading. The true will is a deep spiritual calling, not a momentary whim. The freedom Thelema advocates is not licentiousness, but the disciplined and noble pursuit of fulfilling one's destiny in perfect harmony with the cosmos. Another point of contention is the figure of Aleister Crowley himself. Dubbed the wickedest man in the world by a sensationalist press eager for a villain, Crowley intentionally cultivated a transgressive and provocative public persona. This was partly a strategy to shock people out of their moral and intellectual complacency and to attract those brave enough to look beyond the surface. His writings are often challenging, employing symbolism and language designed to break down conventional thinking. While he explored subjects considered taboo, his ultimate goal was to dismantle what he saw as the crippling hypocrisy of his era and to forge a new, more honest approach to human spirituality and freedom. Thelema has also been erroneously and persistently associated with Satanism. This confusion arises primarily from its rejection of traditional religious dogmas, particularly those of Abrahamic faiths, and its use of powerful esoteric symbolism that can be misinterpreted by outsiders. However, Thelema is not a satanic doctrine. It does not involve the worship of a devil figure or any external entity. Its focus is unequivocally on the empowerment and deification of the individual human being through the tools of knowledge, will, and conscious love. Furthermore, a common critique is that Thelema lacks a moral or ethical framework because it discards externally imposed rules. This, too, is a misunderstanding. Thelemic philosophy proposes a higher form of ethics, one that arises organically from within. It is an ethic based on profound self-knowledge and personal responsibility. Instead of a rigid, one-size-fits-all moral code, Thelema demands that each individual understand their true will and act in accordance with it, which naturally includes respecting the right of all others to do the same. It is a call to a more conscious, balanced, and responsible way of living. By demystifying these false interpretations, we can begin to see Thelema for what it is, a powerful and transformative philosophy of liberation. So, now that the Law of Thelema has been illuminated, the question returns to you. What will you do with this knowledge? Its core message is that your true will, your unique purpose, is already calling out from the depths of your being. The next step, the decision to listen and to act, belongs to you and you alone. The path to freedom and self-knowledge is open. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Law of Thelema. If this exploration resonated with you, please support the channel by liking this video, sharing it with others who may be on a similar path, and commenting below with your thoughts. Your engagement helps this knowledge reach more seekers. Until next time, stay curious.